If you're anything like I am, you probably feel like you were meant for more, like you've got 1,000 different ideas and things to do, but unable to actually execute on the things that really matter. You feel like you've got a lot of potential, and if you just had the right tools and a little bit of guidance to get you there, you'd be more likely to achieve an amazing life that you'd be proud of. What seems to make this worse is that every year goes by quicker and quicker as we get older. Those of you that did goal setting at the start of the year probably feel like it was just yesterday. I know that's how I feel. By the end of this episode, you will learn how to build habits strategically and work towards the life you've always dreamed of. We're going to be covering why habits are literally everything, how you can reverse engineer your dream life, and how you can join my brand new, totally free habit building community to help you get towards your goals faster. This might sound obvious, but habits are literally everything. Everything you do in your daily life ends up being the person that you are. So if you are someone who messages your mum to check in on her, then you are a family orientated person who is showing love towards your mother. If you are someone who goes to the gym every day, you are someone who goes to the gym every day. It's that simple, really. And I think sometimes I often forget this. I go through phases of being all in on habits, and then I will drop them for a little bit. And I think sometimes that's important to have it like almost like training wheels. So you go really hard and very structured and try and work out the things that you want to do. And then over times, life takes over and maybe you go back onto a little bit of a more autopilot mode. But I think it's really important from time to time to be able to steer back and work on exactly what am I doing. So if you think about what you're doing at the moment every day, take a moment to consider, maybe pause this video, like what am I doing when I wake up in the morning? What am I doing in the afternoon? What are the things that I'm repeating often? And obviously you're going to have negative things in there. You're going to have positive things. We want to do less of the negative and more of the positive. And if you take a look at those things and they don't align with like the future life that you want, you're completely wasting your time. I'll give you an example from my own life. So right now, I'm recording this episode because I don't have any guest recordings for the podcast. At one point in time, I used to have around 4 to 6 recordings backed up, ready to go, all scheduled ahead of time. But as time's gone on, I've been busy with other things and trying to have a life and all this other things and dating and etc. I've kind of fallen off that, and I've been basically just publishing weekly, recording through the week and then publishing on the Monday. So right now, because my habit of reaching out to new guests has slipped, I'm seeing an adverse effect in the quality of the podcast because I've not got guests to come on the show. Now, there is a silver lining to this, perhaps, because if that wouldn't have happened, maybe I wouldn't be recording this episode. And I feel like it's really important for all of us, for me and anyone who's looking to build habits, to be talking about this stuff. There are obviously many habit gurus out there. Notably, James Clear is like the king of the habit world. So why would you want to listen to me? Well, I've had quite a lot of success in my life in implementing good and stopping bad habits. A few years ago, I was living a very different life to the one I am now. Dependent around alcohol, my life was a bit of a mess. So I managed to get myself out of that. And in terms of good habits that I've built to become the person that I am sat here now, there are 3 that come to mind from the past and which will follow this similar framework that I'm going to be talking about in this episode, which is the 1 minute habit. Now, I didn't come up with this idea. This was a James Clear original. He talks about in the Atomic Habits book. And basically you want to make it as easy as possible. So make it something that you can do in 1 minute. If we go back 3-4 years, I never used to train. I hadn't built the habit, and I hadn't built the identity that was associated with the habit. So I remember what I did was I started tracking my habits via a table tracking template, and I can get into how you can use one of those in your own. And I wrote, this was my 1 minute habit, was open workout log. That was all it was. So I had a book and I wrote workout log on it. And all I had to do to cross off the habit, to check off my habit for the day, was to open it up. And that's how I started. So, for example, if you wanted to start running, James Clear gives this example of lacing up your shoes, your running shoes. That's the habit. Lace up your running shoes, check it off. And if you really want to take your shoes off afterwards and then go and sit on the sofa, you can do. But this is all about momentum, right? So the 1 minute thing is just about getting you into the momentum of doing the new habit. So me sitting down and opening this workout book, I would look at the page and I go, and then I would write today's date, and I go, what could I do? And that was like a really interesting way of like my nervous system to just kind of, I did it every day. And I would just write, okay, I'll do some dumbbell bench press or whatever. And I didn't really know what I was doing at the time because I was very new to training, but I would just write out a list of exercises that I'd do. And then I would go and do them. So that became what has now completely changed my life. And I think, and then it evolved into when I went on board with a coach, and the habit then changed to follow workout program, and that's basically what it is now. And there's an interesting thing in there how you can outsource any of like a lot of things just to getting a coach and checking in with them, and then you know that you've got that momentum and you're going to carry out the goal that's at the end of it. For example, with me, like Hyrox world qualification. We'll get into that soon. Another one, when I had my little website agency, when I was really struggling for work, I had this one habit where it was reach out to one contact in my network, and that was it. I just had to send them a DM or whatever. And I remember I messaged this guy that I knew that I'd done a little bit of work for, and we ended up having a conversation. I told him like work was pretty slow on the website front, and he was like, you should get in touch with my mate. He's got an agency. I got in touch with them, and that set forth a chain of events of me getting in contact with them, doing some work for them, and I'm now a co-owner of that agency. So isn't it amazing how just those little things can give you that momentum and totally change your life for the better? And the third one, in terms of stuff that I've done in the past that's impacted who I am now, was just the podcast, where I had this habit of just send one DM to someone a day to invite them on the podcast. I've dropped that, fully enough. We've just spoken about that. I've dropped that, and then it is my identity as a podcast is then suffering as a consequence. But that was something I started and then got me that momentum. Before I knew it, like my calendar was starting to book up with lots of awesome guests. So that's the power of little tiny habits. Soon we're going to get into how to reverse engineer your dream life, but I want to mention a quick thing around environment. The environment is so important to your progress. They often say, what is it? You're the average person of like the 5 people who you spend the most time with. Chris Williamson mentioned there was you're now the average of the 5 podcasters you listen to. But the take home here is, if you are surrounded by people who are not trying to achieve the things that you are, you're really going to be pushing that boulder uphill rather than pushing it downhill when you've got people around you who are aligned towards similar goals and ambitions. Good news for you is I've solved that for you by creating a brand new free habit building community. If you'd like to request access to the group, you can message me on Instagram and just say habits. Find me on Instagram at awakenOutOfJason, or you can follow the links in the show notes. So, how to reverse engineer your dream life. So I've put together this whiteboard, corkboard thing that you can, let's put it on full screen. If you would like access to this, you can DM me the word dream life and I will send it over to you. Or if you enter the habit community, you'll get access to this as well. So all I've done here is taken the goals and things that I will be doing in my dream life. I've put a little Polaroid thing to represent it. Then I've put a habit, which in my dream life, what is the 1 minute habit in the dream life that I'm doing? And then if I'm not already there, see some of these, for example, the blue one here, essentialist living. Write down and share the most essential tasks for today. I can already start that now. There's nothing to stop me doing that. So what's interesting is when you map out these things of of what you want to do with your life, a lot of them you can just already begin doing. but you're just not doing them at the moment. So I would suggest, so if you're looking to join the habit building community, we're doing a 7-day challenge beginning, when is it? Is it next Monday? Monday, the 7th of July, 2025. And we're going to be doing 7 days of 7 habits and looking for everyone to crush those habits within that period. So what you're looking to do is find 7 habits that you don't already do. So for example, here I've got Hyrox World Championship qualification, follow training program. That's the one thing that's going to get me there. I'm already doing that. So I've put that in green as it's not a new habit that I need to do. So that's why I've actually got 8 up here. So let's run through these. So I've got one here. Find love. My ideal, if I'd found love, if I have a partner, then what is like the 1 minute habit that I'll be doing on that day? Spend 1 minute reflecting on how I can love and support her better. That's what I'm doing in my dream life. And then I'm like, okay, so I'm not there yet because I've not found her. So what's the next closest thing? Like, how can I get there? And it may take you a little bit of time to think about this. It took me like a good couple of hours of converting these into 1 minute habits. So here we have send one message to a girl. That's the one thing. Now, there could have been like lots of other, I could have been like research, speed dating events or something, but I was like, I'm not going to be doing that every day. So I need to get into the habit of just, what's the one thing I could do? I'm so excited to tell you about my first ever sponsor. Bear Bar make the highest quality shower soaps. Those of you close to me will know I'm always recommending and gifting them to people. I've actually brought some upstairs from my bathroom to show you. This one is Nebula Nightshade, Fresh Cut Pine. This is one of the first ones that they made. It's got like this oaty kind of texture thing. I once described it to Christian, the founder, as like a cheese grater for my feet in a good way. Favorites are Woodsman, Molten Lather, is actually a shampoo bar, and Citrus Burst, which I've used all of that, so I don't have it. Do you remember those like packs you used to get with Pokemon cards? They're kind of like that. They stack it in your bathroom really nicely. You'll definitely dig it. Once you try these, you will never want to go back to £1.99 squeezy plastic horrible fairy liquid style soaps. Trust me, it's an absolute game changer. I don't even bother with moisturizer because I've got this fantastic quality soap and a good diet, of course. There's no plastic. It's made in the UK. Honestly, it's just a 5-star product all around. If you'd like to try Bear Bar, you can get 15% off your first order by going to bit.ly/bearjase. That's BAREJASE to get 15% off. So I could send a message on online dating or on Instagram or whatever, or just reply to someone that I'm already chatting with. Send a message. That's it. Now, at some point, that might need to be upgraded. So let's say I meet someone and I'm ready to change this habit, then we'll update it. But for now, that's the one, and this is the final goal. We've gone through the essentialist living thing. I think everyone, to be fair, should have this one. It's like a real foundational goal. So write down and share the most essential task for today. So spend 1 minute. You can achieve it in 1 minute. It might take you might spend more. You don't have to spend 1 minute on these. It's just you can do them in 1 minute, if that makes sense. So if you're having a crazy day and you just need to fucking get the habit done, you can do it in a minute. So on here, write down and share the most essential task for the day. So I will think about what I really need to get done, stuff that isn't already in the habits, usually something that's scary, something that you've been putting off for a long time, something that's getting you towards the goal. Write that down and share it with someone, maybe someone you work with, a boss, a co-worker, the habit sharing group, whatever it may be. Hyrox Worlds, we went through this. I have a savings goal. So I've got here, transfer 5% of my daily income into savings or investments. So that's the end goal, and that's also like the current, that's not going to change. So even if I've got lots and lots of money coming in and I'm super successful, it's still going to be that same action of what's come in today? 5% goes into savings. So then what you'll see here is I've done like a relational line across here, because that is I can do that now, but 5% of not very much is not very much. So it's dependent on this thing, which is funnels and flywheels, which is basically the thing that's going to earn me more money in my career and my businesses. So funnels and flywheels. So on this one, a funnel, I'm sure you know, if you listen to this podcast, you'll know what a funnel is. It's just about getting eyeballs on your content, pointing people to a thing, putting them in a funnel, and then turn them into a customer. So here I've got the habit, and this is the end habit, and the current habit is note down one improvement to a funnel step. So it may be on the funnel, I might notice that the landing page, we maybe need to update a heading, or some copy could be updated, or let's check the loading speed. Maybe it's loading too slow. So note it down, note it's an improvement, and then I can then act on that accordingly. This is one for like freedom, like working remotely. And then my main goal here is read daily CEO summary. So if I was someone who was working remotely and having businesses running well and stuff, what would I want to do? What the ideal habit in my dream life would be? I just want to read a summary, like an AI summary that gets emailed to me. Like, this is how things are working. This is where we're up to. Da, 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 da. These are the issues you need to know about. There we go. That can take 1 minute. I'm not there yet. So then I've put note down one improvement for team key performance indicator tracking. So all that means is within my agency work, how can I track what the team are doing better? I have some ways I'm doing it at the moment, so I can look at that, see like what metric am I missing? Can I tweak this a little bit so I've got a better overview of what's going on within the business? Then we have podcast growth. My ultimate habit goal, should I say, is review pending podcast guests. So basically, I would ideally like a virtual assistant or someone, or an automated system or people to be contacting me about coming on the show. And all I have to do is just have a look and see what's pending as a potential guest who's wanting to come on, and I can approve it. I'm not there yet, so I'm going back to send one DM invite. And then over here we have habit community. My ultimate goal is, in my dream life, is to check in with a coaching client. So maybe I get into coaching, like habit coaching, or people within the community, something like that. Like, I really want to help people and possibly have it as a business. I should say the community is always going to be free. So I'll just add that in there. It's not like some kind of underhand way of getting you to come on board with coaching, but it's going to be there at some point if people want one-to-one stuff or want help in learning how to build this kind of stuff. And then we have, so I'm not there yet. So invite one person to WhatsApp community. So there, I now have this like super tangible visual way of going, like, this is my dream life, and I can do this in like 7 minutes a day, which is pretty cool. And then I've got down here waiting. So I've got, this is like hosting meditation retreats, this is content creation, this is like traveling more, doing safaris, this is like automated like accounts and stuff. And this is writing my first book. So after a certain period, once I get used to doing these things every day, if you think about, if you're familiar with like the training world in terms of like strength and conditioning, we talk about progressive overload. So then we'll look to progress these habits and add in more as we get used to them. So once I'm doing all of those every single day, then I'll upgrade that habit to something a little bit more technical, or a bit more, or I'll add in another one. So one to do with content creation, and then but I'll show you these as well, actually. So host retreats. I had to take these out because I realized there was more than 7. So in my ideal world, let's say I'm running spiritual retreats alongside other hosts. And then my daily like thing would be like having a look at the bookings. Hey, what's come in? Like, is there anyone we need to get back to? And then what I could do now or soon would be Open Retreat collaboration document. So I've got someone, Joey Weber, we've been talking about running a retreat. I said I'd create a collab document. I didn't, still haven't done it. But if I just created that collaboration document and then we started adding ideas in, that would give some momentum. Content creation. So in my ideal life, approve one content draft for daily publish. So ideally, like I've got a team or like some form of like AI helping me out creating content, and then I could go in and approve it to publish it. Or let's say I might have already drafted it and I've just got it in drafts and I can just go ahead and publish it. That's in the ideal world. And then here I've got note one content idea. So my 1 minute habit could be just write down one piece of a content idea. So that's all that. Don't forget, by the way, if it isn't obvious, you could of course do this offline. You don't have to do it on Canva. That's why I did it this way. So you could literally, it's the sort of thing you could replicate at home. It probably would be like a nicer exercise to do it on the wall if you have a corkboard or whatever, a whiteboard. All you'd need is to like cut out some scraps from magazines or what I keep saying magazines, making me very, very old. Magazines, or print off some stuff, or you could just doodle whatever your goals are and then use sticky notes to put these down here. By the way, if like that's a little bit overwhelming and you kind of like you don't really know what you want, just start with something. Like come and join the free community, like pick a few things and then you can always like course correct. So let's say you always wanted to travel more, like just have that as a goal and go, well, what's the 1 minute habit? What would I need to do to be able to travel more? So that might be like that you just need to spend 1 minute looking at travel brochures or looking at brochures. How old am I? Or looking online at like inspiration or noting down ideas of places you wanted to travel. Or it may be spend 1 minute writing down an idea on how you can speak to your boss about negotiating some time off. You know your situation, so it's about reverse engineering and going back and finding one thing that you can do every day. You're not going to stick on that one forever necessarily. You may upgrade it at some point. If you would like help with any of this, or if you would like videos doing for any of the stuff that I've mentioned, drop me a message and let me know. I will either help you with it directly, I can add you into the habit group, or I will create content for it in the future, or all three. So let's see. So here are 3 ways that you can leverage accountability if you're not looking to join the free WhatsApp group. Number 1, you could start with a habit tracking template, write the days of the week, then the habits along the top, and then have them as like check marks. If you like a habit tracking template, DM me the word template and I will send you one over. Write out all your habits, and then at the start of each day, message one of your friends and say, I'm going to send you a picture of my habits at the end of each day and I want you to hold me accountable. Now you may need to add some stakes, which I've done in the past. And I would say, if I don't check off all of the habits and send you a picture, then I pledge to donate £100 to this charity or something. Don't make it too much so it's going to absolutely kill you, but make it painful enough so that it's going to force you to act. It's amazing how effective those things are. Number 2, another thing you can do, which I've used before, is the same thing. I'm using a handwritten tracking template or a digital one, and you can take a picture or a screenshot and add it to your story on Instagram. That is provided that you're happy for people to see your habits, but I recommend that one as a good one to leverage. Number 3, which is definitely the best one, is to join my free community. Message me on Instagram with the word habits and they'll get you added in. We're going to have so much stuff to help support you and get us all operating on the highest level possible. So there we have it, how to build habits strategically and work towards your dream life. I hope that was useful and I hope to see it in my DMs and get you into that WhatsApp community. So if you are interested in any of this stuff, just have a look in the show notes. It'll all be in there and you'll know what to send me if you're interested. But DM me the word habits and let's get started today. Thanks very much and I'll see you in the next one.